Hey guys, Andy Stickel. I have a question for you. How often, after a client comes into your office for a consultation, you go over their case and you talk to them and they leave without hiring you or retaining you, how often or how many times or what percentage of times do you actually follow up again with that potential client and ask them how everything's going, if they've thought about what they're going to do with an attorney, if they've decided if they want to move forward with their case? How often do you follow up? I'm guessing that for the majority of you, the answer is 0% of the time. And the reason I want to tell you about this is because follow-up is such an important part of marketing. That's why, like, if you're on Amazon, for example, and you're looking at something, say you're looking at a pair of shoes, and then you leave, and then all of a sudden you start seeing all over the internet, every website you go to, those exact same shoes start popping up. It's because Amazon's not stupid. They know that a lot of times people will make a decision later, even if they don't buy right away. When I was in college, I used to have this business where I transferred people's VHS tapes to DVD. Basically, what I would do is I would put these signs down on the side of the road, and it was those 18 by 22 inch signs, and I would just handwrite on there, transfer your VHS tapes to DVD, and then I put my phone number. So what would happen is I would get so many phone calls because I would just put them at major intersections, and people would see them, and they'd be like, oh, I need to do that. That's something I definitely need to do. And they would call me. And I talked to them, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go home. I'm going to put all my tapes together. I'm going to call you back, and we're going to do this. And then what would happen is I would never hear from them again. So it was kind of weird. Luckily, I don't know why I did this, but I was smart enough to actually keep track of everyone that called me. I wrote down their phone number. I wrote down their name. I wrote down kind of some specifics about what they told me. You know, this person had 7 tapes of their wedding or whatever it was. So one day I sat down and I called them, and every single person that I talked to was like, "Oh my God, I couldn't. I've been looking for your number, or you're right. I need to do that. Let's do this today." So what ended up happening was, and remember, I was a broke college kid when I was doing this, and I ended up making like the first time I did follow up, I made like multiple thousands of dollars. I don't remember what it was, but like I mean that for me in college, that felt like $1 million. So ever since then, I basically had a process where I knew that once I got their phone number, I had to write it down, and then 3 days later, I had to call them again. And then 3 days after that, I had to call them again. And then 3 days after that, I had to call them again. And what happened was most of the people that called me hired me. But I think it was something like 85% of the people that actually gave me money to transfer their VHS tapes to DVD, it was 85% of them. Those sales came from me pestering people. And I'm not saying you have to pester people, but actually I didn't even really. I called them and I said, hey, you ready to get started? All right, I'll call you in a couple days. Hey, you ready? And my margins on this business were just ridiculous because it cost me 10 cents per VHS tape to transfer to DVD. The only cost was the cost of the DVD, which was 10 cents. And I charged $20 for each one. So I made an absolute killing on this. So my point of this is not that you should start transferring VHS tapes to DVD, although it is a pretty good business if you're looking for a side gig. But what the most important takeaway is that Amazon knows it. All the other online retailers know it. I figured out when I was in college, you have to follow up with people. You will get so many sales. There's so many sales that are in the follow-up that don't happen initially. And you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and you're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table if you don't follow up with every single person that you meet with. Even just reach out with them, say, hey, I just want to check and see how everything's going. Wasn't sure if you had any more questions or anything like that. And I promise you, you will probably get a couple of those people every single month that you met with that you would normally not have gotten to hire you. You'll get them to hire you. So definitely try it. It's a good way to squeeze more money out of your advertising budget, because the reality is you're paying for these leads. You might as well get every dollar that you can get out of your leads when you get, whatever your marketing is. When you get people into your law firm, you need to make the most out of it. So moral of the story is go back today, go back today. Look at all the people that you met with over the last 30 days that did not hire you, and reach out to them. Ask them if they have any more questions. Ask them if they've given any more thought to your case. And I bet you, I'd be very surprised if you don't end up with a couple cases just down to that. So there's my tip for the day. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me know how it works out for you. Definitely want to hear about people that went back, followed up, got some more cases, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.